Just one mic. Bonjour tout le monde. Mon nom est Sunil Rotou, directeur de Timini Systems à Think Surgical Montréal. Avec moi, il y a Trevor Cotter qui est Senior Clinical Researcher à Think Surgical aussi. Je suis très heureux d'être ici, de pouvoir vous présenter. Oups, ça fallait être trop proche. Think Surgical se confie à Montréal essentiellement. Donc, sans plus tarder, on va passer à la prochaine slide. Si on y arrive. So who we are? So Think Surgical is basically a medical device company building robotic systems for use in TKA. TKA is total knee arthroplasty, basically knee replacement. And our current product is a handheld wireless miniature robot. So that's what you see, Mini for miniature. So before I go into more details as to what we do, it's an interesting part of medical history that's worth mentioning. So the Timini is in a way a spiritual successor of a RoboDoc system, which some of you who've taken courses in medical robotics might have come across in your courses. RoboDoc was essentially the first medical robot of its kind used in humans in the United States. And actually this robot is actually now part of the permanent collections at the Smithsonian Museum in Washington. So just a little bit of interesting historical trivia there. Next time you're in a bar, maybe this will come up and you'll know. So if we fast forward a little bit, Think Surgical in 2016 establishes the first office in Montreal. And in 2023, we were granted FDA clearance, and the system is now sold in the United States and is being used actively on patients right now. And in 2024, since we're focusing on Montreal, for the first time, we actually established permanent offices. We have an office of more than 5,200 square feet with labs in downtown Montreal. 2024 was a very interesting year for us. So, peer recognition, there's nothing like it. So in 2024, we won 2 significant industry awards. One is the Innovation Award from the Medical Device Network Excellence Awards group. And we also won the award for groundbreaking technology from the surgical robotics industry. Again, this was a significant achievement for us. So I could go on and explain to you what this Timini does, but nothing, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but probably a video is worth 1,000 pictures. So let me just play you this video here. So there's a lot to unpack in this video, and I'm going to hand it over to Trevor. Thank you. There's a lot to unpack in this video. I'll leave it to Trevor to explain to you the unique features of our system.
So for those that aren't familiar with total knee arthroplasty, a lot of those words and images may not have resonated quite as much. So I just want to explain a little bit on why we think that this is very important. So first off, a miniature handheld wireless robot, I think we can all agree smaller is better in many ways. But having it be wireless and handheld means we don't have to worry about draping the robot itself. We don't have a cable. We don't have to worry about contamination that way. We can be sterilizing this before use. It also, the overhead active tracking. So many other systems use line of sight cameras from the side. What this allows you to do is access the patient all around as you would in a traditional manual total knee, which we've been told just makes it significantly easier and less of a burden in the operating room, much easier to integrate into a normal workflow. Additionally, this is an open implant platform, so we do not manufacture implants. We manufacture the robot, and we work with a variety of partners to actually put in a knee into someone. So this allows surgeon choice in developing or delivering the best options for the patient. It's also surgeon driven. So you talked about the intuitive smart tools. Basically what this allows the surgeon to do is pull the tools that they want for the part of the procedure they want into the field of view, and the system will adapt to that. And then finally, the last thing, it is CT based. So what we do is we take a preoperative CT, we build a model so that we can understand what anatomy we're operating on, so there are no surprises when you go into the operating room. This allows you to make adjustments before and during the procedure, and really refine so that you can get the exact outcomes and surgery you want. So we think all of these have really helped with our success. As Sunil mentioned, 2023 we received our first FDA clearance. Since then we've gotten an additional 8, so this includes system updates, additional implants, up to the current 9 implant partners. So we were with 9 different companies to be able to put their implants into patients with our robot. And this totals to over 1,000 surgical cases. So we passed that mark a couple months ago, I believe, and I don't think we could be happier with, at this rate, well over 2 cases per day with a brand new robot. I think we're all very proud of that. And I'll let Sunil kind of say what from the Montreal team allowed us to get here.
Yeah, thank you, Trevor. So yes, so this is focused in Montreal. Just wanted to give you an idea of what we do here in Montreal. So this is the picture at our inauguration. Some of my colleagues here in the audience. So again, congratulations, guys. Couldn't have been done without you. So our key focus in Montreal, I mentioned that we do the software development. This is a complex system. So the main, if you want, certain software that drives the surgical workflow was almost completely designed and developed in Montreal with a couple of our colleagues in California, in Fremont, California, where the head office is. So when we talk about a robotic system, it's important to realize that it's not just about software, right? It involves hardware, it involves the interaction, system integration, that what add the complexity. So we also perform that system integration with, you saw in that video, multiple subsystems for the tracking and for the handheld itself, so that we do that work. Additionally, when you build a system like this, we want to incorporate, there's a lot of key software or algorithmic features, more mathematical. So it involves in the field of image registration, obviously, and overhead tracking, which is 3 division. We want to track sub-millimeter because obviously for any kind of surgery, accuracy is paramount. So this is the kind of work that we've done here. Obviously, we work with, closely with our company with our head office in California. So that's in terms of our focus. International partnerships. The system was not developed in a vacuum, not just in Montreal, only one place. We work obviously closely with many partners in the US, but also in Europe. So many of the systems were developed in the UK, in Switzerland. So this all puts together a fairly complex system, but makes it simple to use, right? Another unique thing I believe that has contributed to our success is we collaborated very early on with the universities here in Montreal. We want to be able to leverage the best in academic research and incorporate that into the robots. So to that end, we established relationships with universities here locally. And via these grants, some of you may have heard about them, they're called NSERC Alliance grants. We've sponsored research that is targeted, obviously, that would benefit us. And so we have won many of these grants with, a couple of professors, especially here at Concordia. And that has allowed us to, get the latest academic research into our robot and multiplied our capabilities because we have a small team. So finally, also with these research collaborations, we have hired local alumni from these universities. Some of them, I just saw them, are in the audience right now. And so we're looking forward to continuing those for us in terms of the next step. Now that Trevor is saying we're well on our way to commercialization, we're looking forward to deepening these existing relationships and establishing new ones. Right now, it's been mostly focused on engineering and that applied science, if you want. We would like to also establish more relationships with the medical professionals here and continue that adventure. So in short, we've also last year had a few articles written in La Presse, Montreal International. Feel free to look that up. And we have the robot here at our booth, so I would encourage you to come and visit us, getting a little demo. It's not the full system, but you'll get a feel for it and see how it works. So, please come and talk to us. We're all a bunch of engineers here. We love talking technology. So in fact, you're probably going to have problems to get us to shut up. But please let us know if that happens. So anyway, thank you. And we look forward to talking to you shortly. Thank you very much.
I will invite you to stay on the stage for a quick Q&A from the audience. All right, we have already one question over there.
Thank you very much. Fantastic system. I've been hearing about this since 2-3 years ago in even UK. So I'm just curious about anatomy registration and tracking. You guys are not using the tracking marker arrays. You're just doing point cloud registration. How does that get handled?
Well, we use both. The tracking arrays give you the ability to track, and within this tracking, you can do registration. Then it tells you where the.
So you actually install tracking arrays underneath.
That's right.
Yes. Okay, I see. Thank you.
The active markers, basically.
Okay, I see. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, something you want to add?
No.
No? Okay. Do we have another question? No? Yes?
I know nothing about surgery, but I'm curious, how is the product acceptance on the clinical level? Because you have to go through the change to clinical protocols. Each country or the hospital setting, they have their own ways to do about it. So from practical perspective, how was your experience breaking through the protocols and putting it uniformly in practice?
Trevor, you want to take that one? I think it's more.
Excellent question. Obviously, anyone here probably understands the number of hurdles to not only get a device approved, but actually get it used. I'd say the biggest thing that we have done is really focus on kind of some of those key features to make it as easy to integrate and seamless as possible. So allowing for surgeons to use their normal manual positioning of patients and techs. In addition to that, working with implant partners is hugely beneficial because they have existing relationships. So they can also help bring us into the OR if it's a technology that both they and the surgeon wants.
Thank you. Do we have one last question? Yes, in the front.
Nice presentation. Do you have any market interest or incentive in going imageless or with 2D imaging instead of CT?
Yeah, for now we're focusing on CT because that's, we believe, where the market is right now. But we are keeping an eye out for any other technologies as well, for sure.
Thank
you. Once again, very nice presentation. I was wondering if in the future, maybe not near, maybe far off, combined imaging would be something you guys would maybe envision.
So combined imaging, you mean with combined imaging with what modality are you referring to?
You mentioned CT. There's probably IR as another modality that some companies use, and probably a lot others that I don't quite specialize in.
Yeah, I would say this is the kind of forward-looking stuff. That's why we have these research partnerships with the universities. This is the kind of stuff that we have going to separate pipelines. One is the R&D, pure looking at few new technologies coming up, and then there's the immediate, product roadmap that fits in. So what you're saying is probably something that would fit on our, R&D roadmap as opposed to the immediate product roadmap.
Thanks for answering.
Thank you. I think we have time for one last question. Yes?
I would like to piggyback in that question. So is there any appetite in the industry, in that sector, to survey patients and long-time analysis of the progression or changes over time in anatomy, utilizing your device or other devices?
In changes in anatomy or just like outcomes from the procedure?
So, yeah, basically, let's say there is a degenerative problem that is being addressed with a surgery, but at the same time, the doctors would like to see that the structure is holding up properly and there is no signs of regression or something like that. So when the system scans or survey that site, a second or a third analysis will determine if there is any loose or changes on the surface of the knee or the structures that are being surveyed.
Fantastic question. So right now we are focused just on the surgical date, basically pre-op and up until then. We are just hitting just over 2 years of patients right now. So we are just starting to get in the point where we can look at those long-term outcomes. But of course, there's plenty of interest there. Like I said, our focus is really making sure that the knee and the implants go in exactly where we want them. From there, we let the surgeons do their normal standard of care. There's great products out there like Zimmer's Persona IQ that allows you to track in the patient movement and do this. We focus strictly on the surgical date.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this great presentation.